Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi al-tahirin wa sahbihi al-muntajabin. My warm greeting to our audience and those who watch these podcasts. A lot has happened since we had the first podcast attempting to reflect on the current crisis in the Middle East. Unfortunately, since February 28, 2026, with the United States and the Zionist regime's attack on Iran, although they were like previous attacks, they were engaged in negotiation and they were trying to negotiate, and Iran was willing to go through the negotiation, but unfortunately they attacked Iran. It was a major attack on Iranian territory, in which Ayatollah Khamenei, the grand leader of the Iranian Revolution, was assassinated. A number of military leaders and political leaders were assassinated. And basic infrastructure, particularly military and what they considered to be possibility of use in the nuclear issue, they were all destroyed. The hope was, as I'm going to quote unquote repeat the wording that they said, by decapitating the Iranian regime's upper echelon, the regime, according to this narrative, is going to fall apart, and then United States and its allies, proxies, as well as poodles, the Zionist regime, will have the free hand to go into Iran and take over literally all, not only the government, but primarily all the natural resources. Trump wanted the oil, similar to what happened in Venezuela. To be able to assess where we are now and what is the outcome and how we can get out of this abyss and what we call the paradox that exists, and for the United States and its allies and the Zionists, it has become a pickle, literally. They don't know how to come out of it. They don't know how to continue. One needs to briefly, within this limited time that we have, go through certain assessment. In a nutshell, this is a classic conflict between a hegemonic power, which here we call it United States, and the Zionist regime, attempting to impose its tentacles on the rest of the world. And this is part, we have discussed this in various other occasions, part of the attempt by United States to impose a single polar dominance on the rest of the world, and anybody who stands up to that kind of understanding, then naturally they are considered to be the enemy. Islamic Revolution of Iran, from the beginning, in 1978-79, made it clear that it does not intend to be part of any of these East-West power structure. The slogan at the time, "Na Sharqi na Gharbi," that we don't intend to follow the East or Western political structure or hegemonic structure, made it clear for them that they want to have their own approach to the structure of international relation. And I remember in 1979, or if I'm correct, or could be 78, when the American embassy in Tehran was taken over by the students, there were a number of Western correspondents that interviewed Marhum Imam Rahmatullah alayhi, Imam Khomeini, and they said that this is against international law. He made it clear there and then that the essence of the Islamic revolution that has happened is to the rejection of international law that does not give freedom to people like Iranian population or Iranians to be able to formulate their own political structure and their own approach to international so hegemony to international laws or international relation. Hegemony was rejected right then, and that notion has continued up to today. So the essence of the conflict is economic, political, military, as well as ideological. It's a complex issue which we really need if one wants to assess this crisis, needs to deconstruct all of these factors, the economic, the political, the military, as well as the ideological. The ideological one could easily deal with, but the military as well as economic. The attack on Iran on February 2026 was meant to eliminate the upper echelon of the political and the military structure and make it easier for Americans to walk in and take over. Those of you who have been following the event, people, anti-Iranian gatherings that were organized, they were sure that with the implementation of this attack, the Americans would facilitate for them to go back to Iran and take over the regime. It did not happen. What happened as a consequence? Iran was able to respond and respond strongly. Iran absorbed the attack on what happened in Iran, February 2026, and the concept of finishing off the nuclear program and Iran's supreme leadership in general, and as well as its ballistic power, all was lost. Now, United States suddenly woke up to the reality that Iran not only absorbed the attack, it was able to respond immediately to this attack, and some kind of a new war began to develop in the Middle East that the United States was not prepared for it. Although United States began by attacking Iran on various occasions, but Iran responded by attacking not only United States bases in the region, I believe 26, or some people say less, some people say more, bases of American military structure in the region right across the Gulf, southern part of the Gulf, from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and other places. They all were attacked and destroyed. Iran was able to attack a number of bases deep inside Saudi Arabia that was hiding major aeroplanes such as AWACS and others. And in addition to that, bases in Iraq, northern Iraq, and the Jordanian, Syrian, and Iraqi border, as well as Jordan. And the inferno was what the Iranians opened against the Zionist system, the Zionist regime. All major cities in occupied Palestine was attacked. And whether it was military, whether it's economic, whether it was somehow structural, because Iran was attacked and its civilian centers were hit, Iranians have retaliated and against this, in particularly the Zionist regime case, and they have been hitting them hard. A number of peace attempt started to develop once, and this was by the desire of United States and with the instigation of the Zionist regime, because they could not envisage to continue being bombarded day and night, and they needed some kind of a resolution to this. So they asked Omanis, or then later on the other countries got involved trying to resolve this issue, and Iran would respond that we tried this ceasefire in July of 2005. We made it clear that if we are attacked, there is not going to be a ceasefire until a complete resolution of our problem and cessation of violence against Iranian state. And this is something that the United States up to now has been resisting. What this means, Iran is rejecting to be the exception to the international law. Everything is allowed for other people, particularly those who are signatory to non-proliferation treaty of the IAEA, but for Iran, as an exception, they are not allowed, although Iran has made it clear that they have no intention of going for the nuclear a nuclear explosion or nuclear fusion or creating the bomb. My personal assessment is that if the attack on Iran becomes existential, that means Iran realizes that it has to go for broke and or to go all out, there will be, particularly in the light of the militant mindset of the current leadership, there might be a possibility of going the route of Pakistan, India, and North Korea by withdrawing from non-proliferation treaty and the IAEA and going for the creation of the bomb themselves. Because I constantly see this in the Iranian literature or media. Look, North Korea, a small country, weak, but because it has nuclear, United States, it would not dare to go and challenge them. We may have to go that route if we are pushed that way, particularly if the Zionist regime opt for the Samson alternative, which means attacking Iran on with a nuclear bomb. Then it would push Iran towards that. The latest somehow attempt for negotiating some kind of settlement between United States and Iran is the Pakistani approach to the whole thing, that they are trying to push both parties towards first ceasefire that they succeeded for about 10 days, but to extend the ceasefire for as long as possible, so that in the meantime some kind of a negotiated settlement could be reached. The essence of the problem are few. Number one, American and the Israeli or the Zionist regime unwillingness to accept Iran in the Middle East as a powerful country that will be able to control, form, and influence the affair of what's going on in the region. Iran is not prepared to accept the American bases in the region, and has made it clear as long as these bases exist, Iran feels free to attack any country that from that country attack on Iran instigates. And they have already made a list of a number of countries. Early on, many years ago, Iranian foreign ministers have been to these countries and reminded them that you are creating these bases here, and if these bases are used against us under international law, we can attack you. But somehow they didn't listen. The economic cost for United States and the pickle that exists is tremendous. To continue with the war economically is going to be, the cost is too much. To withdraw, it's the image, the economy of the image, which is going to be counterproductive. The United States has already lost its image internationally. And Chinese and the Russians are observing this, the dynamics that is going on, because they see ultimately one day they have to deal with the United States, so they learn from what is going on in the Middle East now. Number two, Iranian access to limitless, what they call ballistic and other weapons that would support them, has led the Americans and the Zionists to start assessing the cost, because now they have reached the point that they really don't possess the necessary response from their side. The Zionists have already said that they only have about 700 missiles left in their silos, and 700 missiles would not last if they want to use to attack Iranian or deal with mass Iranian attack against the country. They will not last more than a week. Then what? Americans are going through the same thing. Remember, most of these weapons, Patriot and others, they require 8 to 9 months to replicate and produce them, while Iranians can do them in 2 or 3 weeks. So that economic factor is another issue that one has to deal with. The military has created, militarily being unable to force Iranian regime and use what we call a killing punch to destroy Iranian regime, has created war without end. And that is something that the Americans and the Israelis are not prepared to go, because it drains them extremely quickly. Then I have already mentioned the cost of war. Geopolitically, it has created a deflection. While Americans were talking about that their focus should be on China, and according to them, the Chinese expansion and the Russian expansion, the fact that they have focused on Iran, it has deflected them geopolitically from their enemy. So for them, the cost of continuing is too much, and the cost of withdrawing is huge amount in negative consequences in the balance of power. Also, this war created a fracture between US allies, which was NATO. Nobody, although a few of the countries such as England ultimately allowed few of the bases in England to be used, but they were not prepared to participate. England refused, France refused, Germany refused, Spain definitely, Italy, not only they refused, they started taking action against the Zionist regime for their atrocities in Lebanon. One of the major factors here is the insistence of United States and its poodle in the region, the Zionist regime, that Iran should not support the axis of resistance. The axis of resistance are the ones that are Yemen, Lebanon, Iraq, and these are the three major, the Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Hezbollah or their associate in Iraq. So far, United States has been unable to convince or force Iranians to accept the fact that they should not. Iranians have responded, so long as you have access of support from the Israelis and the Gulf state, we have the right to have access of support from anyone that we choose. The same way that you are prepared and you are spending huge amount of money supporting your poodles and others, such as the Zionist state, we have the right to support our friend, which is the Houthis, the Hezbollah in Iraq and other places in the same manner. We are waiting to see now whether the Pakistanis, another problem that we have both for those negotiators is that Trump is unable to make up its mind. It's the yo-yoing effect. One day says, I would like to remove the embargo. Another day says, no, the embargo stays. Or in the morning, he says the embargo stays. In the afternoon, says embargo doesn't stay. Araghchi, the Iranian foreign minister, made it clear that we cannot deal with the United States because the United States does not have a clear policy for resolving this issue. It could be Netanyahu could give him a call and he goes in particular manner. Somebody else would remind him of Epstein file, he goes in a different manner. The Christian Zionists get together and talk to pray for peace and the return of the Messiah, he moves into a different direction. These are fundamental problems that needs to be assessed, and inshallah we will be dealing with them in the next session that we post a podcast, inshallah. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For those of you that watch this, if you have some questions, please text us or send the question, and we will be able, or email, that we will be able to deal with them. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum.